You heard the chairman. We're going to try to go through some of these questions as quickly as possible. Secretary Lew, what would the Allies' reaction be in terms of the sanctions if the U.S. rejected this agreement?
Senator, I think that they have made clear that they think the agreement should be put into force. I don't want to speak for any of them, but they're already taking actions to show that they're beginning to deal with Iran in a different way. The Vice Chancellor of Germany was over there with a group of business people. There's a French delegation over there. I think that they're going to take a very dim view of our rejecting this agreement. On the other hand, I do believe they respect our unilateral sanctions. They fear them, and that will put them in a very difficult bind. But I don't think that we will have as much capacity to bring the world community together in that situation as we have had up until now.
And I suspect the reaction would be different among China and Russia may have a different reaction than Germany.
And I think if you look at the developing countries like India, they're not in the P5+1. And I just picked them because they're a big economy that's dependent on oil imports. We have had a sustained diplomatic engagement with many countries to keep them in line with our oil sanctions. That will get harder and harder if they see the rest of the world going another way. They're going to look and ask, how much capacity do we have to take enforcement actions? Can they find ways around them? And ultimately, they'll start doing business more and more in other countries.
Would it be fair to say that the sanctions regime would fray, if not unravel?
I think that's fair. I've been trying to be measured.
Erode?
I've been trying to be measured because I don't believe it's black and white. I think it would start to fray. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Secretary Carter, you just visited the Middle East. Is the danger of proliferation greater or lesser as a result of this agreement? In other words, are some of our allies in that region who may think about their own weapon, are they less likely to acquire a weapon because of this agreement or more likely?
Well, I think logic would suggest that if the agreement is implemented, meaning that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon, that it is less likely that other states in the region get a nuclear weapon.
Mr. Moniz, I know we're going to have a lot of time to talk about this, but there's been all this discussion about the secret agreement. It's true, is it not, that this agreement between the IAEA and Iran applies to the past the past actions of Iran with regard to nuclear weapons at Parchin and other places, but does not apply to future inspections? We know what the future inspection regime is going to be in order to implement this agreement. Is that correct?
That's correct. Again, what the JCPOA accomplished is forcing Iran to cooperate with IAEA to finish the examination of past behavior.
So this so-called secret agreement is for a small part of this deal, but it's not the essence of it, which is the inspections and verification of Iran's compliance from today forward.
That is correct. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And finally, in 28 seconds, this famous 24 days, is there any way that they could clean up a facility where they had been processing fissile material sufficiently that it could not be discovered if the inspection took place after 24 days?
Well, I can never say 0.00%, but with very, very high confidence, I think we would find nuclear material utilization evidence. Certainly, the risk of getting caught would be extremely high.